Pressure. Pressure. You'll hear that a lot, right? Somebody's giving a breakdown of a game. I watched one for the Super Bowl. It's going to go on this weekend. They were talking about who's got the pressure. They had it on Mahomes. Oh, Mahomes had the pressure for whatever damn reason. But they don't take the time to tell you why that's important. And it is very relevant who has more pressure, right? At anything in life, any relationship, and that doesn't mean if it's business, if it's romantic, any relationship, the power goes to whichever one cares less. Now, I'm not telling you to be careless. But no matter how much you love that person or they love you, if there was a test, it's not equal. That's just something that you say. If you're trying to do business, and you both like to do it, but he needs it. He needs it. You'd like to do it. You can see where there could be a profit in there. He needs it, or his business doesn't move forward. It's not equal. He cares more, power comes to you. So when we talk about pressure within the sport, there's only a few ways to get it. And Volkanovski has come out, and he said, I have nothing to lose. And I feel as though I could make a case, because the line hasn't moved, guys. DraftKings posted their first line the night that Islam became champion. It was Islam and Oliveira fighting. But there was an interview. Before we faded to black and rolled the credits, there was an interview. Got a pretty good idea. DraftKings jumps right to it, 3-1. Now, I've seen that go to 280. I've seen that go to 320. I'm going to call that 3. That's 3 for me. But it's been 3 the whole time. It's been very consistent. Do the odds have something to do with pressure? I think so. I think that makes sense. Numbers don't lie. Anytime you can have numbers, it's helpful. And a couple of numbers in Volk's favor, right? 145 versus 155. I guess the pressure would be on him. We call it a size advantage. The world is expecting him to win. It's not just something they say. That line got adjusted with people's hard-earned dollars. They're experts in the case. They know who's who, and they got him losing this thing 3-1. I can make a true statement for you that you'd almost think is a riddle. If you didn't follow this sport, know what's going on, it would almost be a riddle to you. Volkanovski wakes up today. This is Saturday. I tell you this on Saturday. Volkanovski wakes up today. World champion. Volkanovski wakes up tomorrow. World champion. Islam wakes up today. World champion. I don't know if Islam tomorrow wakes up world champion. I mean, do you see the difference? They both have one world championship right now. If Volk loses, they both have one world championship right now. So it would seem as though if we stopped right there, there's pressure on Islam. Just pressure off of Volk. And I'm sure they're both in a pressure cooker dealing with plenty, but it is relevant because that creates a fatigue. Pressure creates a stress, which is a chemical release in your brain that creates a fatigue over all of your muscles. It'll just slow you down. In a cardio environment, calmer you can be. Very important. Now, these are two pros where some of this silly stuff really isn't going to come into it, but there is something to be fighting at home. Look, I told you guys this before. Every single sport comes with a home field advantage. All of them. All of them. Except this one. But you're fighting at home. And just so you guys understand, that means anyone you've ever met in your life that can get your phone number or your email is going to ask you to get them tickets. Just so you understand what that means. Anyone that you've ever thought might think that you're a tough guy or that you even led them to believe you were a tough guy is going to come out and find out just how tough you really are. It's one of those things. So I think the pressure could go a little bit towards Volk, but I also think that would come off to create an excitement, to have that crowd so far behind him. I mean, Volkanovski has come to the States and been a main event 3 times that I've been there and did not get the loudest roar of the night. The night he fought Zombie, we had one of the great fights ever in Gilbert Burns and Chimaev, 2 matches before that. All the energy in the room was for that. It got sucked out. And by the time Volk came in, they just wanted it done. And that's not an insult to Volk at all. That's just what happened on that card. So I'm just trying to think of it from that perspective. Man, it probably will be cool for him to hear that roar. That probably will be a good support system. What that got to do with it? At the end of the day, what's it got? I mean, DraftKings started these guys at 3-1. I mean, I have to tell you that. I have to tell you that because nothing moved. When we found out the fight's going to be in Perth, that didn't move half a point. That didn't move towards Volkanovski. What about when we find out that Khabib is not going to be in the corner of Islam? Guys, we've dropped that. Who else could you drop that for? You tell me one athlete where you just drop it, their coach isn't coming. Found out I got to fight in 3 weeks. I got to come tell you guys Coach Clayton's not going to be there. And you think Chael's going to just go handle this one on his own? That didn't move the line. Stay at 3-1. That surprises me. I just bring that to you. And at the end of the day, no matter how you feel or what that crowd's reaction is or all these different things, how your weight cut was, I mean, all of these different things, one guy's a better fighter than the other one. That's it. Is Islam going to be able to take and keep down Volkanovski essentially at will? If yes, we don't have a close fight. We might have a 5-round fight. We might, but we don't have a close fight. We have all 5 rounds going to this guy. Is he only able to get him down a couple of times? Does he deal with the fatigue? One scramble will change you. Now, that could be equal because you both went through it and you both get dropped. I'm just sharing with you, we have seen guys reach exhaustion in that cage, just not be able to defend themselves. Period. That would be an unforeseen, that would be something that we couldn't predict. How is Volkanovski going to do that? And he can only do it one way, which is through a scramble. A straight takedown, whether it's offense or defense after that, isn't going to exhaust a guy. Doesn't matter if you're the one doing it, having it done to you. It must be on the in-between. There must be a scramble. And you'll know right away when guys are going to lose. There is no one in this sport at championship level. Nobody that thinks they can win a fight from their back. There is not one guy. Gilbert Burns himself, who I believe is the highest medalist, third in Abu Dhabi. I don't believe we have anyone else on the roster that has a medal. So Gilbert Burns, as the most decorated, will tell you, you don't stay on your back. You go there when you have to, but you get up. You scramble. No one's submitting somebody from their guard. Not on this level. Maybe on the prelims. And I only tell you that because Volk knows that. There is no part of Volk or his trainers or his coaches or his mother, for that matter, that has told him, if Islam gets on top, pull guard. And think about a go-go plata. Think about getting him in your triangle. Try to find a arm bar. Like, that's just not happening. At all. Not at all. Get an underhook, get the hip down, get back to your feet. Cause a scramble. At a minimum, get a reversal. At a minimum. Do not play. And I only bring that to you because if Volk gets taken down and he stays there, right, that's the sign. That is the sign for a fighter to the other fighters, because only they will know that language. And that sign is, I'm overwhelmed and I've already felt it. I have already felt how this night is going to go. I am now in survival mode. I'm trying to get through this round and hopefully a couple of more. That is now the victory for me. They call it a moral victory, but you'll know that right away. I'm just bringing this to your guys' attention. Like, if Volk does that in the first round, if he gets taken down and he stays there, he starts controlling wrists and bringing his knee inside. If he does any of that, and I do mean for 2, 3, 4 seconds, I mean at all, if he does any of that, you can tear your ticket up. He's not going to win the fight, but he also knows the only thing he can do when he gets taken down is scramble. He can turn that scramble into an escape, or he can turn it into a reversal. But the only thing he can do is scramble. And if he ever quits scrambling, it means he was tired, or he was overpowered, or he's just not good enough. If any one of those things are true, it's not going to change through the course of the night. So that's going to be where the real big moment comes. Guys always get lost in this when they're dealing with a wrestler. The takedown. It doesn't matter at all if he takes you down. The only part that matters is, do you stay there? The most beautiful double, and he runs you and he picks you up, Matt Houston. He slams you down to the ground. Means nothing if that guy knows to bounce off a canvas. right? The good second they touch, those hips are turning. Volk's been working on that. He either knows it or he doesn't. If he shuts that down, that switch will never get turned back on. And I do think we're going to see wrestling right off the bat. I do think the Volk is going to come out and surprise you guys with his hands. Islam, for sure. I spoke to that team, for sure. They're going to, and that team will always tell you their game plan. Like, just so you, before I come and tell you, here's what they're going to do. And you go, Chael, he wouldn't tell you? Yeah, he would. Some guys are like that. They want you to know. Mike Tyson wanted you to know. Come with an upper hook, I'm going to finish that with a hook. He wanted everybody thinking about it. Other guys want to keep it quiet. I'm sharing with you, Islam, for sure, is going to come out hand heavy, looking to strike just to show the world he can. And then he's going to look for the wrestling. And when he goes for the wrestling, it isn't about if he gets Volk off his feet at all. It isn't about if Islam gets on top. It's about what does Volk, not Islam. Islam's going to stay there. If Islam gets on top, he's going to stay there. What does Volk do? That's the question. That's the only thing that's going to move the line at DraftKings. They're pretty dead set on 3-1. I'm pretty dead set on telling you that is a real value buy.